So I'll call the meeting to order, and I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session under 1 VSA 317C4 to discuss pending legal issues with attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Carla, if you'll move us in, we'll invite the administrative assistant, the town attorney, and Helen Hunt into the executive session. And I guess you'll need to move Rich over into
The waiting room?
meeting room. Yeah.
So.
Entertain a motion to resume or return to open meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with approval of the meeting minutes from October 13th. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion over the October 13 minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Additions and deletions. I have a comment about the fire department that can go under, I would say, new business. Highway department under correspondence. There is a email or a letter from Carol Somaria. It's a letter that's in the packet, reference to a highway issue, and that can go under correspondence. And then there's a information packet from this Nordic ski thing at Stratton Mountain, and it has to do with skiers doing training on paved roads, and I don't know as we even have them this far down here, so I'll leave it in the just as information in the packets at this point. It's like 4 pages worth of material. Okay, so move on to the warrants. This will be for the warrants for October 27th, since the meeting was not able to go off due to a technical issue. What I have done a little research on and asked a couple of you about was doing a little change, at least for an experiment, for the next couple of meetings, and then we'll evaluate whether we want to continue with it after that. But what this experiment is I'm going to ask Rob to make a motion to do all of the warrants that we have in front of us, listing each one of them by the number, the fund, and the amount. At the end, as usual, I'll ask for a second on that. We'll go into discussions. If you have any comments about a specific warrant, you'll need to give the number of the warrant, and then we can go into that discussion. Once we do the old ones, we'll do the new ones the same way and move on. And we'll see how this works. Okay? Rob, can you go ahead?
I'd make a motion to pay warrants number 1. Warrant number 1, payroll in the amount of $11,817.20. Payroll taxes number 2 in the amount of $5,368.95. Number 3, payroll in the amount of $11,483.60. Number 4, payroll taxes in the amount of $4,988.13. Number 5, the general fund in the amount of $54,863.61. Number 6, the general fund in the amount of $18.63. Number 7, the highway fund in the amount of $12,941.01. Number 8, the highway fund in the amount of $21.30. And number 9, out of the equipment fund in the amount of $1,111.47, for a total of $102,613.90.
Okay, having the motion been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the warrants for October 27th, 2020? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying warrants 1 through 9 from the October 27th, 2020 meeting in the total of $102,613.90 signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion carried, the warrants passed. Okay, Rob, if you want to move on to the current ones?
Make a motion to pay warrant number 1, payroll in the amount of $11,758.95. Warrant number 2, payroll tax in the amount of $5,109.36. Warrant number 3, out of the general fund, the amount of $9,914.48. Number 4, out of the highway fund in the amount of $7,857.23. And number 5, out of the equipment fund in the amount of $5,125.54, for a total of $39,765.56.
Okay,
On this warrant number 4, how come on the sheet here, purchase amount is $4,988.13, and the amount paid was only $3,355.20?
Are you on November 10th warrants, or?
It's number 4, payroll taxes.
Now, go to
No, you're on the wrong
November
sheet.
10th, Irv. The next,
10/26/20. That's
No.
the date on this payroll thing.
No.
11/10/20.
We're dealing with 11/10/20, or there are 5 warrants instead of 9.
Yeah, this is number 4.
Yeah, but you're on the wrong week. You're in October. We're on the November 10th.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, keep going through your packet, or
Okay, well, I'll give it again. We have a motion to pay warrants 1 through 5 totaling $39,765.56 for November 10th. Do we have a second? I'll second it then at this point. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call it the vote. This is to pay warrants for November 10th, 2020. Total of $39,765.56. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay. Motion is carried. We're on to highway report. Steve, you have the floor.
I'll start with the topic of grants. The town has been reimbursed for both of the Better Back Road grant and the grant in aid from Wyndham Regional. Both of those checks have been received. The Better Back Road grants for next year have just been sent out. They need to be filled out and submitted in the next several weeks. We'll be doing that. Also, the 2021 Small Structure Grant Program was postponed this summer because of COVID. They came out the end of October with a plan with VTrans and the state legislature that put a pool of money together that would be distributed as a one-time payment to each town in Vermont based on their road mileage. Townsend received $30,122.23 for highway use. My recommendation to the board would be that we put that money in reserve for the J Road project. We don't know what that's going to entail yet, but it will be a rather large grant match. So I would suggest that someone make a motion to reserve those funds for that project.
And that's for the culvert?
Well, we don't, the hydraulic study is not complete yet. From what A&R has told me and Pickering, the replacement will not be a culvert. It'll be some type of box or arch. They don't know yet. So it's not going to be a culvert. It's going to be a minimum of $150,000 replacement.
A minimum
They
of
also-
$150,000 for that?
Yes.
Man,
And it would
they're
take
gonna put gold
priority.
in it?
It would take priority over the replacement of Bridge 43 and any grant application for the Stone Arch Bridge. And that's coming from VTrans.
Which
Okay,
one's more
so the
important,
J Road-
43 or J Road?
I'm sorry, Rob?
What, isn't 43 a little more important than J Road?
Well, 43 just had an inspection. It was rated a number 4. The culvert that we put in, J Road, is under an Agency of Natural Resource permit that is only good for 2 years. It expires December 31st, 2022.
Okay, so VTrans says that J Road is first. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Regardless of anything else outstanding, and the amount is $30,000.
Well, 30,000 is
have-
the check we received for our one-time payment. I would like
Okay.
that put in reserve to cover grant match or other costs associated with the J Road project.
Okay. Do we have a motion on Steve's request?
So move.
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Okay, still carried. We'll look into what we have to do to put that in reserve. Okay, go ahead, Steve, with the. what you have
We're taking advantage of the good weather. We're doing the final round with the blower, cleaning out ditches. We spent 2 days last week removing hazardous trees. Also did some brush. Robbie's been doing some spot grading for potholes. So we'll just continue. We did a culvert on Barber Road last week. We'll just continue as the weather allows us to do these outdoor projects. And the town of Athens Highway Department approached me today and asked if the town would be willing to rent them our new blower. I told them we had a meeting tonight and I would bring it up.
Your feeling on this?
I'm not excited about it. They're not looking to do the whole town. All they're looking to do is their grant projects for stone line ditches to blow the leaves out of their new stones before the winter comes and they all get packed in. So that's all they're looking to do. I don't know if that would take them a day, probably not more than that, but I'm not done with it yet as far as Townsend goes.
The only problem that I have, and I don't know what the rest of the board's feelings are, is we paid for this thing to a considerable amount of money, and having somebody else run it besides the town's an employee brings on all kinds of liability issues. Somebody gets hurt on it, somebody runs into it, and whatever damage is done to it, I'm pretty sure that Athens would take care of it, but I'm not real fan of lending our equipment without our people running it. And I'm not a real fan of lending our people unless there's some kind of really significant emergency. That's my 2 cents about it.
I'm not in real great favor of it either.
I don't think any of us are.
Okay.
I am a double
So I
negative
guess-
on that there, Ghost Rider. I would be for that one.
Okay.
bit.
Steve, then I would say, no,
Okay, thank you.
the answer is no. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, there was one thing that I had asked you about, and I know that it was we were gonna update it on the last meeting, but we got that letter of complaint about dump trash out there near the intersection. I think it was 35 and, was it Simpson Brook or the Grafton Road?
It was the pull-off on the top of the Grafton Road by the Beaver Ponds.
Okay, and just wanted to, put it out to the public, especially since it was somebody from the public that made the complaint, what the status of that request was.
I did go up there and take a look at it, looking for maybe a piece of mail that had a name on it. Once I found the first hypodermic needle, I went back to the garage and got a pitchfork and a steel rake and a pair of latex gloves and picked it all up. There was face masks, there was latex gloves, there was hypodermic needles, as well as empty plastic bottles, glass bottles, and a whole bunch of empty bags from frozen French fries. So that's what it was. Not excited about picking up hypodermic needles. Really not excited about finding them in Townshend, but they're there and they were disposed of.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything for Steve at this point, as far as the highway goes?
I think only the
Okay.
letter from Carol Sumac with regard to asking
Yeah, what-
the highway department for stone.
We're gonna pick that up in correspondence. We'll pick that up in correspondence. Okay, so we'll move on to the town clerk's report. You should have in your packets the list for the counter money. And that's all we have from the clerk that I can see. The treasurer's report. The current treasurer's report says that in the municipal investment fund, I'm assuming that's what it means, $846,948.78. And the second fund is $30,000. Checking account? The 30,000, yeah, the checking account. And that report was dated today? Yesterday. Okay, correspondence. In your packet, you should have received a letter from the town of Newfane. The town of Newfane has been asking its surrounding towns if they would be willing to share an animal control officer. They have, they're willing to pay to do that, but I also understand that the town of Dummerston is looking for the same thing. Since again, this is my perspective, the rest of you weigh in as you feel necessary. It's the
I don't
same.
think
It's the same issue with loaning people out. First of all, the people that do the animal control officer job for our town as our constables, both of them have their own businesses to run and are not available for that. And the civil liability compounds itself when you start passing those people around, even if they were willing to do it. Bert,
yes,
go
but
ahead.
also Newfane and some of them have different laws than we do too.
Exactly.
They have
And
in the village of Newfane and stuff. I believe they have release law.
Okay. Rob?
And and we seem to be making out pretty well with Constable taking care of it.
Yeah, I would agree. Rob?
Not really in favor of it at all.
Okay.
I
Steve?
found that when they do stuff.
Nope, not in favor of it.
They do their stuff under their rules and we do things a little different and under our rules.
Okay. Carla, would you send them a letter saying, thanks, but we won't be able to help them out?
Absolutely.
Next thing is a letter from, oh, we got a letter again in your packets from SEVCA thanking us for the $1,500 donation. I'm assuming that was from our charitable funds from last town meeting that were paid out. The next thing is I sent a letter. I'm going to call this elections because it's going to go for more than just one thing. I had requested from the school in order for us to do our social distancing and be able to do ballot countings tables. They agreed. They helped us get the tables, and Steve and his people constructed the barriers that blocked off the town hall access, control the access. They brought in the tables, set them up, and they took the tables down and cleaned out the barrier that they set up. So I sent a letter of thanks to the school for their assistance in helping us get through this. I also sent Steve a email thanking him and his people for helping us get through this. And I just wanted to acknowledge to both of them, or both entities, the highway department and the schools, that we appreciated very much everything they did to help get us through the elections under the situation that we're in. The next thing to do with elections, there were complaints that I was made aware of about the non-use of masks at the town hall during the day during elections. And it wasn't by the public. We're talking about the people that were working in the polls. I will tell you that I am in the process of looking into the ramifications. There are potentially several, but if there is a person in the general public that witnessed something, they can make the complaint, because the only place that's enforceable at this point in time is through the complaint portal at the Attorney General's office. This process is that you file a complaint, identify the circumstances, the date, the issue of, in this case, not wearing a mask under the governor's directive. They will follow up with you. Unfortunately, the Selectboard and in my role in emergency management, I don't have any control over that, but I can direct you as to where to go. Is there any comment from any other member of the board on any of these three things that I brought up?
Is there a link that people can get so that if they do have a complaint, that they have an avenue to get to easily?
There is. I don't have it right now, but I believe it's at the Attorney General's office. The website for the Attorney General's office. I'm not sure what the way to best publish this at this time, but we can put it, make it available in the minutes for this meeting and have it distributed that way, at least so that we can comply with that request.
And it might be easier to just call out the person that's not wearing the mask right on the TV so that they can figure out, you know, when they hear it, they can figure out whether they will make a complaint or not.
Well, I'm not the one that witnessed it, but
I saw Anita Bean basically not wearing hers and everybody else following the protocol. And it
okay.
slaps Leland and Gray's helpers and our road crew in the face when they're down there trying to mitigate the problem. and there's somebody blowing caution to the wind. And to be honest with you, it's a pretty piss poor way of setting precedents when the person that's the town clerk can't even follow the simple operating statutes that the government or that our state is setting forth. And meanwhile, she's working for us. We're not working for her. So.
Okay. Steve, any comment on any of those three?
No, I'm all set.
Irv, any comment on any of those three?
Well, the select board don't have control over a person who's elected.
We didn't say we did, but you would think out of just common courtesy, you'd put your goddamn mask on and wear it when everybody else.
Well, I'm saying that, but as the select board, she was elected by the people, not by the select board.
We weren't saying that we're coming out with a decision of what to do. We're saying that if you saw something and you
Oh
want,
yeah, no, I realize that. Yeah.
we're not saying that we're going down there to take away any rights of hers. Right?
Okay. All right, let's see, the next, I'd say we're done with that particular correspondence. Old business, it's COVID-19 update. I'm sure everybody is kind of tired of COVID, but the only thing that I will really advance at this point is the governor today imposed a restriction about cross-state travel for recreation. Where it had been, there were certain counties identified in what they call the travel map that you could go to without quarantine. That has been suspended. If you travel out of state to spend any time out of state in a recreational type of circumstance, you need to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival back in Vermont. If you go 7 days, get a test, the rest of that 14 days can be suspended. The virus is on the uptick. They are very concerned about it to the point where they are going to start enforcing some of these regulations by visits. I don't know what those visits entail. They didn't elaborate. The spread of this thing has been pretty rampant since Election Day. We're talking about the entire population of the state of Vermont. It would have been equal to the entire population of the state of Vermont in 4 days in new infections and approximately 3,600 deaths in 4 days. So that gives you an idea of why why they're kicking these things up. Also, they're starting to see an uptick in the infections in this state, and some of those infections were caused by things, as we discussed in the last segment, not adhering to those regulations and those advisories. Next up, the Sumac issue at the from the complaint from Jim Crozier. Steve, what did we do with that?
Well, we haven't done anything with it yet. What we said
Okay.
was, if I took 2 guys for a day and we had 2 weed whackers with steel blades on them, we could walk around the fields and knock down all the small sumac. Not weed whack all the edges, but just knock down the sumac if that's what the board wants us to do.
Put it this way, Steve. I'll go down and mow the edges of the field because I took the best part of the field out of it as a token of appreciation for doing the middle of the field. And I'll get that part done by the next meeting because I know that having a timeline is precedence here. So it'll get done in the next 2 weeks. Whatever somebody wants to do past that, because Sumac is growing rampant and has been growing rampant the whole time. There's some of it that is just, it needs to be attended to with more than a machine, or more than a tractor with a brush hog or a cutter on it.
Are you saying that it needs to be treated or something like that, Rob?
There's no real treatment besides digging it all out and making sure it stays mowed. But I've mowed through the years, and this was part of my complaint leading back several meetings ago, is I beat that stuff back every single year and have pounded it back.
Yeah.
That I've been maintaining it, and I will continue to do the areas that I've maintained before. But we've already gone down this rabbit hole a few times. I'll go down, touch it up. After the next meeting, if somebody else wants to do more, they can do more.
All right,
I
thank you,
guess
Rob.
I'll leave it up to your discretion, Steve, on what else needs to be done with that. I guess that's the only way to deal with it this year. Okay.
And I'll do it to no charge to the town, because I know that some of the other peepers out there in town want to know what it's going to cost, so to speak, because we know nothing gets done for free.
All right. Next up, under new business, there was a health officer's report. The health officer has dealt with it, sent the appropriate letters. It had to do with trash. Let's see, the scheduling the FY22 budget meetings. We asked for everybody to have their budget request sheets done by the 30th. That was complied with. We just need to start scheduling those meetings. My personal goal is that we would get this done as soon as we possibly can. Into the first week or so of December. That would mean we'd have to have the first budget meeting sometime during next week. Thoughts?
It's that time of year already?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Jeez.
Do we want to do a budget meeting sometime next? I don't even have a calendar in front of me. Hold on. Like next Wednesday, next Monday. Do we want to do it during the day? Do we want to do it in the evening hours?
During the day won't work for me.
Okay. Okay,
I mean, preferably for me after dark.
after dark. Well, it gets dark at 4 o'clock.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying after dark.
Okay, I'll go along with that. Okay, after 4 o'clock or after 5 o'clock. Give people a chance to get some dinner or something like that. Do we want to say 6 o'clock? Just like we're
Which day?
doing now.
Next Wednesday, you're talking?
We can do it next Wednesday if you think that works out well.
All right, November 18th, 6 o'clock?
Yeah. And I'd like to try and do this first one at the town hall, because there's a lot of stuff to filter through, and I'd rather not have technical difficulties and balancing budget sheets on top of desks or laps while trying to deal with it on a telephone is kind of crazy. So I'd like to try and do it at the town hall, because this is an essential function of town government. Just bring your masks, and we'll be probably using upstairs, depending on the square footage, and the tables are all up there anyway. So, except for the select board tables, that's right. Does that sound all right?
Elaine's gonna be, if Elaine's gonna be involved.
Yeah.
I mean, she would be better in her office where she can input numbers into memory.
Okay, so it'll be downstairs, and we'll spread out what we need to spread out. Does that sound all right to everyone else?
I love the
Sounds
idea.
good.
Okay.
Yep.
So 6 o'clock on, what did I just say? The 18th,
18th.
11/18/20. Town hall. Carla, will you make sure we have all the copies and stuff we need by then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, I forgot the one thing under correspondence, so we'll move it into this new business thing. We got a letter from this Carol, whatever, it's Somavia.
Sumeriva.
Somariva, okay. And she is talking about wanting some stone in the, for a class 4 road maintenance type of issue. Here we go. It's dated October 26th. It says, "Dear members of the Townshend Select Board, we are writing with a concern of a class 4 road. Right away that connects Buck Hill Road to our driveway. We have owned 930 Buck Hill Road for the past 23 years. During this time, we have maintained the class 4 portion, installing 2 culverts, cleaning ditches, and every other year or so, and grading is needed. Our concern is over the muddy section of the class 4 road that makes passage difficult at certain times of the year and depending on the weather. We are inquiring as to whether or not the town would be willing and able to provide some gravel for this portion of the road. In the event of an emergency, we want to have the road in passable condition. We have the ability to spread the gravel, so no additional work would be needed by the town road crew. We appreciate your consideration." Thoughts?
Sure would.
Yes, sir.
We
ahead.
got to do some looking up because that may be one of the roads that the former select board did away with by not
Okay.
doing anything.
I
Okay.
don't know as though it's a class 4 road, because there's not a stone wall, I don't believe, on both sides.
That makes no difference. If it's not on the highway map, that's been discontinued by statute of the legislature.
What I'm saying, Irvin, is I don't even know it's a class 4 road, that part that they're talking about.
Well, it was, because it went over through and come out over the French's cabin over in Cushion Flats. I know, because I walked all them roads. Doing this class 4 road business.
What's the first thing that says when it's going to be a class 4 road? That they usually have a stone wall on each side, a certain set of rods apart.
If it's not on the tax map, I mean the highway map, they've been discontinued.
Hey, Steve,
And we found the information
go ahead.
in the record.
Go ahead, Irv. Finish your thought. Steve, what's your input with this, with the roads?
Well, whether it's a class 4 road or not, I mean, I don't see us repairing class 4 roads in town.
Well, if it's a class 4 road and it's on the map, you can do a certain amount to just make it passable. There is some stuff in the statutes on that too.
Okay, Steve, go ahead and finish your thought, and then we'll have.
I'll get together with Steve. We'll look at the map and stuff, see what we come up with.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, go ahead, Steve, with what you were saying.
No, I think the right thing to do is first, let's determine if it is a class 4 road or not.
That's what I was going to say. We'd determine if it was or not.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to table this until next meeting, until you guys get a chance to look it over. Okay. There was a listener's request under new business for an error in omission. Apparently, there was a property it was a campground or camper property, and they're asking for permission to remove it from the tax rolls because the camper wasn't in there on the site for 180 days is the reasoning behind it. The Turner camper on Camperama Site 6P. Your pleasures on that?
Yeah, if it's not there 180 days, you can't tax it.
Okay, so I guess I need a motion.
So I make the motion, we take it off the tax roll if it was not there 180 days.
Is there a second for discussion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion about the change?
Is there a way to find out whether it was there for 180 days or less?
Only what the listers did put in their letter to us, that's all I have.
And what did they say?
They say that the camper, they say the reason for the request is the camper was not on the site for more than 180 days, so the parcel should have been inactivated and there should have been no tax bill issued.
And that was the listers?
That was the listers. They put this out on the 10th, so today.
Yep.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Discussion is occurred. All those in favor of allowing the listers to remove this, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay, Carla, would you make sure that they know that it's all right? Okay. Errors and omissions. We talked about, oh, the last thing that I have is I wanted to make you all aware that yesterday on Route 30, there was a fire in a house. It could have been very drastically different than what it was if it wasn't for the quick thinking and quick action of a volunteer fireman from Putney and our fire department in kind. The house, the people inside of the house, the back side of it was on fire. They didn't know that it was on fire. The firefighter from Putney, whom I do not know his name right now, but we'll get that information, was driving by for a personal appointment here in town. Got the people out of the building, used a fire extinguisher he was carrying to kind of keep the fire at bay. And our people got there and finished putting it out and overhauling. From the time it was reported to our fire department to the time they were under control was 7 minutes, which during the day with everybody working is absolutely phenomenal. The building was old, dry, and could have very easily been fully involved if it were any other time of day or night. So I just want to make you aware of that. I want to send a letter to the select board and the fire chief in Putney, thanking this gentleman once I find out who it is. But I just wanted you all to know what had taken place yesterday early afternoon here in town. Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for, select board meeting is scheduled for November 24th. We'll continue on our Zoom thing for the select board meetings. Our budget meeting will be the 18th at 6 o'clock. The select board meeting on the 24th will be at 6 o'clock. Is there anything that anybody else has for the good of the cause? Comments, input? Okay, would entertain a motion to close our meeting for tonight.
So move.
There a second?
Second.
Okay, have a nice evening.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
All you people have a good evening.
Yes,
You too, Irv.
Bye-bye.
bye.
Happy Veterans Day.
Same to you.
Okay, I'd say we're good.
All right. Good night, Sherwood.
Good night. Take care now.
Yep, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yep, bye-bye.
All right. Good night, Rich.